Good morning, class. This is Reader's Workshop. This is where you listen to me read, and I tell you how to use your voice expression with punctuation marks, changing your voice sound, and also focus on the characters in the story. How are they? What's their purpose in the story? What type of people or things are they? Now, before I do the reading, and we're doing traditional literature, let's review punctuation mark. So if you see a period, always stop, take a breath, continue reading. If you see an exclamation mark, that's when you're excited and you're yelling or you're excited about something. Like Happy New Year or Happy Birthday. Question mark is when you're asking a question, your voice naturally goes up because you're waiting for an answer. What are you doing? What is that? Comma. That comes between words in a sentence. Stop, take a breath, count to 3, then continue reading to the end of that sentence and then go on. Quotation marks. In here would be words that's coming out of the person's mouth or the character's mouth. Change your voice when you see that. Become that character to make the reading interesting. Okay. Now, this story is written by the brother Grimm. That would be Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. And a little bit of history, this was back in the 1800s, and they were going to school to become lawyers. However, they were hearing all these folklores, which are stories told orally by your mouth, not written on paper. And they were so fascinated with the folklores, they didn't want anybody to lose these stories and have them forgotten, so they started writing them down. So then they put them in print and made them as books. So this story is called The Fisherman and His Wife. There was once a poor fisherman who lived with his wife in a hut in a small house by the sea. Every day he went to fish in the sea with his rod, his fishing pole, and line. One day he caught a huge flounder who begged not to be killed. "I am an enchanted prince," it said. "I wouldn't taste nice at all. Put me back in the water." When the fisherman came back home empty-handed, his wife scolded him. She fussed at him. "Have you caught nothing today?" "Nothing but an enchanted prince," replied the fisherman. And did you ask for no reward? Go back, you fool, and ask for a house." So this is the wife talking to him. And here he is. "Flounder, flounder, come to me," called the fisherman, and the magic fish came back. "I'm sorry, but my wife wants a new house in return for saving you." "Go home," said the flounder, and the fisherman went home and found his wife in the sweetest little cottage, a nice pretty fixed up house. But the wife wasn't satisfied. She still wasn't happy. "Go back and ask for a castle," she demanded. So the fisherman went back to the sea and called the flounder again. And when he got home, this time he found a huge castle with towers and a drawbridge, a bridge that comes down so you can cross over the river, the mound that's around the castle. This is more like it," said his wife. So here are the various pictures. But before long, she sent him back to the sea again, and this time she wanted to be the king, and that night the fisherman returned to a king's palace. Next, the wife wanted to be the emperor, which is a little bit higher than the king, and when the fisherman got back from the errand from the run. He could hardly find his wife in this vast imperial palace. A whole bunch of fancy buildings you'll see in a minute. She was surrounded by guards and servants. "Surely you are happy now, wife," pleaded the fisherman. She thought for a bit and then said, "No, I want to be God." And the fisherman went back to the flounder with a heavy heart. "She wants to be God," he whispered. "Go home," said the flounder, and when the fisherman returned home, he found his weeping wife back in their poor old hut. So, the moral of the story is, what you learned in the story is, be happy with what you have instead of being greedy, 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 because if you don't appreciate it, what you get, you're going to go back and be where you were from the beginning. Interesting story. So now this is your time to read. Read to someone or something. You have nobody to read to, then read out loud. And don't forget to fluctuate your voice. You don't have a book, look at the website and class tag or the district and read one of the reading papers. Okay. And think about the characters in the story. So until next time, happy reading.